Hey, John Wagner here, back with another build. This build is American flag themed. If you're proud to be an American, leave me a thumbs up. And for the subscription, let's see if I can earn it. So a little bit about this build. I was challenged by some work friends and teammates to build a retirement gift for a dear friend and someone I've worked with quite a while. Now this friend, the person that's retiring, has challenged me in my career and many others that work with me currently with I'll call it old school and abrasive leadership style that may sting a little at first, but over time has been known to bring out the best in people. Now with that said, you probably thought about that special someone, that special lady or gentleman that really brought out something special in you. I'd love to hear about that in the comments. Now I'm going to call what we're making here a sign, for lack of better words. And I chose birch plywood. I have it on my CNC bed here. You can see me cutting out a flag design. I bought a wavy SVG flag file off of Etsy, and I modified that flag file so it would fit inside of a circle. And I used the program that comes with the Shapeoko 4, and it's called Carbide Create. Now in this video, it's been a year since I've had this Shapeoko 4. It's been a great machine, it's very user-friendly, and it's a workhorse. The few issues I've had out of this machine in the last year since I've had it have been user error and completely my fault. Speaking of user error, I got one here. I used a upcut bit when I did the final cutout, and I have tear out around my letters in the outer perimeter. Now I was going to use the color of the birch plywood for the outer perimeter, which I thought would be pretty cool, but now I'm going to need to paint it. Now I got a lot of favorite tools in my shop, but you're looking at one here. It's a 2-inch sanding disc that I can attach to my drill press or my cordless drill, and it really does a nice job, especially on this. I'm going to leave a link in the description of my favorite and some of my most useful tools that I use in my wood shop. Now, speaking of favorite tools, when it comes to dust collection, my leaf blower is used a lot more in my shop than it is in my yard, I can tell you that. Now, there's a good chance when there's a breeze blowing, this might get a little dust on the neighbor's car. So remember, if you're going to live beside a woodworker like me, get a white car. You won't see the dust. Now, even after sanding, I had these little fuzzies that even the sanding didn't take out. And I figured the best thing to do is just hit them with a torch. It kind of burns that little wood peach fuzz off. And then from there, I should be able to go into a paint process. I will say as I get into my painting process that I don't do a lot of painting. And the level of detail that's required in this paint job that I'm doing here now, at least for me, gives me a really higher level of respect for painters and the time, the quality, the effort that it takes to actually do a really good job. Now, the woodworking items that you saw me make on my channel, I don't make any money off of them. I make them, a lot of them are for gifts, and I promise you that I haven't made a dime off of anything that you've saw me build in my YouTube up to this point. The most I've ever got is enough money to cover the cost of the materials. And what I'm getting into here is I have a day job. My woodworking is a hobby. And in my day job, I work around some of the best painters and craftsmen in the world. And with each one of my builds, including this one, I try to have that same commitment to quality that I see from my coworkers and friends. Now, most of the CNC cutouts that you're going to see me do come from SVG files that I buy off of Etsy. They're only a couple dollars, and I just scale them down to make them work for what I'm doing. Now we're at the halfway point of this video. At the time this video was released, I was at 500 subscribers to my YouTube channel. And I want to say, if you like to see this type of content, different builds and different information, and watching as a new woodworker grows their skill level and also grows their YouTube channel, I would ask you to consider subscribing to my channel. A like and subscribe means a heck of a lot for a small town woodworker like me. Thanks for watching this. Now back to the build. When it comes to creating things, I think there's two groups of people. One group would be in a category that requires a lot of sit down and design and planning out exactly how to build something and exactly how something comes together. And only after that point would they be able to use those directions to go execute the build of that project. The other type, the category I believe I'm in, where I have a vision that I've dreamed up in my head on how things need to come together. I start building the project and add little things along the way sometimes, and pretty much design, create as I go. Now, I can tell you sometimes this doesn't work out very good at all, and it's cause for me to scrap my projects. But I like to build this way, and I don't see that for me, taking the time to go design my items really pays off for me, because I end up making changes along the way anyway. And that's always because I'm building different stuff here. If I was building the same thing every time, then there would be a design, and there would be some process that I followed to make sure I can repeat the project and have that type of precision and quality that I need for each one of my builds. Now, out of those two categories that I mentioned, which one's wrong and which one's right? To me, there's no right or wrong. The great thing about building things and creating things and taking time and quality and putting the effort you need into your projects is everyone has a different way of doing things, and each one of those different methods has its own unique type of advantage that goes along with making sure things come together the right way. And when it comes to larger, more complex processes, the ones that require a lot of folks involved to make happen, having diversity where you have different types of people and different ideas and different way of doing things is exactly what is needed to create the very best project that's possible. Feel free to leave me some feedback in the comments about how you like to build things, or what category you think you're in. So speaking of additions along the way, this is one where I thought it was finished, but when I looked at the project, I said, hey, something's missing. So I had to figure out something that I could add to fill in those gaps that I thought was necessary to fill up. Now, I hope you see now what the CNC makes possible here. I've dreamed up what I think the project needs to look like. I look in Etsy and find items that's closest to my idea. I plug them into my CNC, and voila, I'm able to bring together the design that fits my dream. The CNC really takes the woodworker to the next level. Now, whether it's CNC work, regular woodworking, basic or advanced, one thing they all have in common: you have to work safe. Make sure you get some good safety glasses, ear protection, and the types of respirators that you need to make sure you're working safe. That is by far the most important thing.